Hello, my name is Major Chris Warner and I'm an Army psychiatrist, and I want to take some time today to talk to you about Army suicide prevention. Battle mind is a soldier's inner strength to face adversity, fear, and hardship during tough times with confidence and resolution. It is the will to persevere and win. Battle mind builds on your proven combat skills. Self-confidence and mental toughness are two critical components of battle mind. This video will teach you the skills that you need to reduce suicide behavior. By learning the warning signs of suicide and by remaining vigilant to their danger, you can intervene and save lives. Leaders, battle buddies, first-line supervisors, you are the folks that can make the difference.
This is probably not your first suicide prevention brief, so I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about numbers. But instead, I want to focus on the most common reasons soldiers consider suicide and what you can do to help. Suicidal thoughts arise when people are trying to find a way out of an emotionally painful situation. A divorce, legal problems, financial crisis, all seem very overwhelming for a soldier, particularly when he or she is already under a lot of stress, such as deployment. Suicidal thoughts are often impulsive. Suicide is seen as an easy way out of a difficult situation. When people think it through, though, they realize there are much better alternatives to this. Our job is to buy them the time to figure this out. The number one reason soldiers, sailors, and airmen kill themselves is some kind of relationship problem. Dear John and Dear Jane letters while deployed, divorces, and breakups. The number two reason is legal problems. Usually because it means loss of career, the problem is loss. The soldier sees no resolution, so looks to removing himself from the situation. Where alcohol is available, he may seek to drown his sorrows. This usually just makes the problem worse, though, and may make him even more impulsive. When alcohol is not available, people may turn to other chemicals such as huffing. These chemicals can cause serious brain damage and even death. Your doctor has safe and effective medicine for anxiety and depression, so get them to a doctor instead.
The stress associated with deployment makes everything more difficult. Already troubled or weak relationships get strained that much further. Everyone has to adapt to changes, and the person under stress due to relationship or financial problems has more on his plate and finds it much harder to cope. The first sign of failure to cope is often frustration or anger outbursts. If you see a change in your buddy, take the time to find out what is going on. Often in a crisis, people get so worked up, they aren't thinking clearly for themselves anymore. Leaders, you need to know when one of your soldiers is struggling with something and have plans in place for how to mitigate that risk. Be on your toes. Recognize that your ability to create a command climate that reduces stigma will have a major impact on the willingness and ability for your soldiers to seek help. First-line supervisors, battle buddies, you know each other the best. You are the most likely ones to realize when there are these early warning signs. You're going to recognize that change first. It is you that knows when Joe is going through a problem. It's you that sees the first signs of the behavior changes. It's you that sees them when they're having a problem. You have the best opportunity to step in and offer help.
The Army suicide rate is increasing. Soldiers need your support to get the help they need. Let me be clear. Anyone at any age can commit suicide. Let's talk about stigma. Why is it important and what can you do about it? Stigma refers to a cluster of negative attitudes and beliefs that cause soldiers and leaders to fear, reject, avoid, and discriminate against people in distress. It isolates and makes their problems worse for those dealing with emotional distress, and fear of stigma deters them from seeking help. Stigma can be the largest single barrier to care in a unit. It is not that the soldier does not want to get help. It's not that the leader or battle buddy doesn't want to get them help. Most of the time, it is that we feel we will be labeled as weak or soft. Being a good leader is not about being tough or hard. It's about knowing when to reach out and make the choices that are right for your soldier. Regardless of stigma, it is about recognizing that soldiers are human beings and we all have emotional reactions to things around us. You want proof? We know that 53% of soldiers have behavioral health issues report that their leadership would treat them differently. 54% reported they would be seen as weak if they sought help. That is stigma. Allowing stigma to exist in your unit can adversely affect morale and cohesion. Morale and cohesion is the best predictor of your unit's ability to face and sustain in high-stress environments. Lack of morale and cohesion is not just a mental health problem, but it can become an administrative and leadership nightmare. As a leader, you set the tone for your unit. Be aware of stigma and mitigate it at every opportunity.
All right, we've talked about the role you play in helping a fellow soldier, but what do you need to look out for? Some of the common symptoms that soldiers may experience related to suicide are sleep problems, impulsivity, not being able to sit still or concentrate, feelings of worthlessness or guilt, or feeling trapped or a sense of hopelessness. Often those who commit suicide feel as though the pain and depression will never go away. They feel trapped, as if they're backed into a corner and there's no way out. Soldiers may show a range of emotions and behaviors as they struggle with these issues, and it's important that you recognize those changes, especially those battle buddies and junior leaders and first-line supervisors who know these soldiers best. Be aware when a soldier begins to act differently, when the quiet soldier becomes more talkative, when the talkative soldier becomes more quiet. Be aware when the cheap soldier starts spending money. Now, don't get me wrong here. I'm not saying that all changes in behavior are a result of soldiers thinking about suicide. Just because the cheap guy is buying cigars for everyone doesn't mean that he's thinking about suicide. But if he also has problems going on, some of those high-risk things that we talked about, such as a loss of a relationship, a pending divorce, legal action, UCMJ, then realize this could be an early warning sign.
It is a myth that suicidal soldiers look and act depressed. Sometimes when they decide to commit suicide, it is seen as a solution to their problems, and they might be more relaxed and feel better about the situation. Leaders and battle buddies have to be willing to talk to their soldiers and listen to what they have to say. Emphasize that getting help, if needed, is a smart thing to do and displays